Hey, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're the Rambling Reviewers.
And today we're looking at a show you've never heard of, Starhunter.
And
featuring 22 episodes, says this DVD box, and we only watched one of them.
and it was the pilot episode, and yeah, weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
It was
yeah,
bad.
it was just bad.
It really felt like a knockoff of Firefly,
I think Firefly came out in 2003. Yeah, it did come out in 2003. So this actually came out before Firefly, and it did it worse than Firefly.
Knockoff from the future past. Whatever.
Knockoff. Okay, I'm going to just.
I guess I got that from X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Okay, no, except that storyline was awesome, and
yeah,
this was just. Okay,
so this is like the Firefly prototype almost.
No.
Yeah,
Firefly prototype would be better.
Yeah.
Okay. The basic plot is that there's this main captain guy, Dante Montana.
Yeah, which obviously gets us thinking about Indiana Jones, which is
odd. And he's a bounty hunter.
He has to deal with the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Not the Ark, but actually there are Raiders he has to deal with.
Yeah, so,
who stole his son, whose name was Ark. So there you go. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and he has a crew of Percy, his niece, who acts kind of like a skank half the episode.
She's just sort of generic teenage girl, wants to meet a guy, thingamajig.
Yeah. And his AI, Carjo, I think. No, Carjo is something else. But
it was like a longer name. We didn't even pay attention.
Yeah, but the
AI thing.
And who we called Not Zoe because she served practically the same purpose as Zoe.
She's the second in command who is
She's
black.
a second in command black lady with kind of vaguely military bearing, except Zoe would probably have killed all of them.
Zoe was awesome.
Zoe would have mercy killed half this crew. By which I mean everyone in the crew. It was just... Okay, so the first episode does not serve to make anyone look good.
No.
Okay, see, how you establish a character is very important.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine established Benjamin Sisko as someone who takes charge and takes action.
And also, on the flip side, had really cared for his son, and it was right there from the beginning, and all these other things.
He lost his wife at the Battle of Wolf 359 against the Borg, so he has deep issues in his past.
Now, this guy has issues too, but we just touched on, and then it's not the main focus of the episode. His son has been kidnapped, okay.
Yeah, and he's kind of vaguely angsty about it. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, so he meets up with creepy mind rape lady.
Well, he captures creepy mind rape lady.
Yeah, and like a dumbass, he doesn't disarm her at all or take...
Yeah, she's got this mind control thing on her wrist. Like, okay, I guess he didn't know that's what it was, but you should probably take all suspicious things from your prisoners.
I mean, yeah, that's what they do in modern prisons, and I like to think that modern stuff is going to be less
improved
advanced.
Upon, yeah.
Improved upon in the space future.
Yeah.
So... Here's how it should have gone. She was put into her cell wearing an orange jumpsuit, stripped naked, and had a cavity search before she was brought on board.
And that was the end of that.
Yeah. But no, she uses a mind control thing on him like 5 minutes into the episode, and he's her mind slave for the rest of the episode.
Something like that, yeah. And then there's her son is also been taken prisoner, except there's nowhere else to take him, even though he's not on the warrant, but I guess we'll just take him prisoner too and put him in a cell, but then we'll let him out of the cell. And then she's all like,
and not leave him escorted.
Yeah, and then when she's like, you've turned my son against me. Like, what? By letting him look through a window?
Ooh, look, lady, if all it took to turn him against you was to let him look out a window, I think you have bigger problems.
She does have bigger problems, as it turns out. She has no tone in her voice ever. Like, you could make a really sadistic villain out of this. Yes, I'm, controlling people's minds, really lording over them.
Benedict Cumberbatch, the guy who plays Sherlock, and more importantly, he played who's that guy? Khan in the Star Trek Into Darkness thing.
Right.
He had a pretty monotone voice as well.
But he did it in a very good way.
Yeah,
so he was intense, and she was just like, "I want you to go kill that person." Because I said, there's no feeling in it at all. It's always at this one pitch all the time. Like she's doing with an old-timey microphone that doesn't record other pitches. And you must talk in this one pitch. It's boring.
Yeah, okay, so And Percy, who I don't really see what purpose she served on this ship.
It made
At first,
more
I
sense
thought she
once you
was
find out she's the niece. You're like, okay, so I guess she's not regular bounty hunter material. At least they acknowledge that.
I mean, but in Firefly they had they had Kaylee on board, and she was quirky, and she hit on one of the dudes on the ship.
Yeah,
but she served a purpose. She was the mechanic, and she was
really had a love for the ship.
Quirky comic relief.
Yeah, and made
sense. But this she was a bitch. Okay, maybe I'm just me being here, as opposed to whatever. But anyways, so she treated the AI really horribly. I mean, could you imagine if Picard told Deanna Troi to stop it because stop flirting with this dude because she's endangering the mission, and then Deanna Troi says, "Okay, Data, delete 50% of your mental capacity," and then Data going along with it. Can you imagine that at all?
That was just, yeah.
She deletes 50% of the AI's capability and nearly kills them all, by the way.
And it kind of nearly gets them killed, yeah. And then there's a whole... I mean, so basically it's like we have two independent plot lines. Like, girl flirts with boy, and by the way, the captain has been mind-controlled and he's going to kill us all. Like, why are we even talking about this girl and this boy?
And they don't shoot anyone.
Were
bullets at a premium? Because, okay... Not Zoe had mind control bitch. We didn't catch any names.
Yeah.
Not Zoe had mind control bitch at gunpoint several times.
Yeah.
And even when she says, "Okay, I've removed the conditioning that I placed on the captain," she doesn't blow her freaking head off like she should have.
I mean, at that point they do say, "Oh, wait, but now we need to like do a reversal process." Like, okay, that makes sense not to shoot her, but seeing as you didn't know a reversal process existed in advance, that you would have actually shot her right there. Like,
yeah.
There were several points where we thought like this could have been made so much better because she's got the captain under mind control.
So I was saying, okay, now I will tell your captain to kill you. So I was suggesting, quite reasonably, okay, shoot her in the kneecap until she tells the captain to go free.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fun was she when the mind control lady is all kill the bitch. And we just thought, wouldn't it be great if he shoots mind control lady? Like, that's what him told me to do. Or another one where she says, okay, here comes, the niece and that one dude. Act like your normal self. Okay, just shoot the mind control lady.
Yeah.
That would have been so fun.
I know. And it's just so...
No one's acting in a like, you're bounty hunters, right? Like, I'll excuse the niece, but not Zoe should be all... When you enter the room with a freaking, suspected murderer, and she's got your captain under mind control, please enter the room with the gun held up, like in a horizontal way, pointing at the suspected murderer.
I don't think your suspected murderer is 2 inches tall and standing in front of you.
She walks in the room pointing the gun at her own feet. Like, I understand you doing that when, like, there's friendlies around, but no, she's right there, bad person in front of you. Point the gun at her.
Seriously.
And shoot her before she says kill Zoe. Not her actual name was Luke, which we found odd.
Yeah, kill Luke.
Before. If you just shot her before she says that, then you're golden.
Okay, how about this? Okay, for every demand you make that isn't related to healing our captain or helping us out, I will cut off one toe. I will continue doing this until I have to start on the fingers.
I mean, and if you don't
that's sadistic, but you're bounty hunters. The whole point of a show revolving around bounty hunters is not because you're part of the Federation. It's not because you're part of this glorious moral high ground. You're bounty hunters. You're the garbage collectors of human civilization.
That's usually how it works. Well, if basically, if you're gonna go with whatever, there's some sort of squeamishness about them, then that should be established. And it certainly wasn't. You're just like, hey, we got a suspected murderer all by ourselves. Apparently we're tough stuff. And then it was, no, we don't actually shoot people even when there's totally reason to do so.
I don't think they fired a gun a single time in this entire
the one time
episode.
When he was mind controlled, he fired 2 bullets at her, remember?
Oh,
he
and
was hunting
the most
Zoe,
amazing thing happened.
Zoe.
He had a laser sight on his pistol.
He had a laser sight.
You have no idea how freaking amazing that is for a science fiction show to have laser sights.
Because they just don't bother with even mildly good technology on these things.
Well, okay, that, and it's a very common sense technology. It's been available for a while in the real world.
Yeah.
And it helps with aiming. So, of course, no science fiction show ever uses a laser sight, ever.
Yeah, well, now they did. So good. That's the one kudos we can give to them. And then later it was, okay, we're going to do the reversal process on his brain. They've done the reversal process. Okay, now you've agreed to, basically take me and my son somewhere safe. And not Zoe's like, no, I didn't agree to that. And then doesn't shoot Mind Lady. No, like, I've just declared to you, Mind Control Lady, that I am going to throw you in jail again. And I know you're a murderer. And I have a gun. But I'm just going to not even point it at you.
And then the Mind Control Lady starts hitting her over the head in the weakest, most pathetic way possible. It looks like she had all the strength behind those blows of a 2-year-old.
Oh.
And it shows Luke lying on the ground later with like a trickle of blood leading out of her head. And she's fine later, of course.
And she's fine later, of course.
And so Mind Control Lady tries to escape with her son. And her son, for some insane reason, says, my mother needs to be stopped. So he does the most natural thing possible and helps them and results in her dying. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking of a show with actual quality in it.
Yeah.
Instead, what happens is he walks over to the airlock, enters it, closes the inner door, and waits for his mom to get there and opens the outer door, and he's sucked out into space.
He blasts himself out the airlock, and you're like, why did you do that? Like, it was the most senseless sacrifice ever. Like, just go tell not Zoe to shoot your mother.
And then it's a special effects failure because it's an airlock. It's not on a spaceship. It's on the ground.
They're on the ground.
And yet, from the perspective, it's shooting. The perspective of the camera is looking down on him from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And you can see outside where there should be ground is stars.
Yeah.
So what, was the gravity reversed in this section? Why would it be doing that? And then, like, Mind Control Lady starts actually showing a friggin' emotion on her face, and she's like, no!
It was still bad acting at that point. It was a very contorted face.
And so she uses the mind control device on herself, which practically lobotomizes her, and leading to her rocking in her cell saying, tell me what to do.
Which, that one moment could be a creepy thing in a better show. Also, this idea that, like, perhaps she had mind controlled her own son and he figured it out halfway through. Like, oh, okay, that could have been an interesting idea if it was played correctly and made any sense. And yeah, I mean, I guess he was just psychic enough to know she would kill herself after he killed himself. Like, why don't you just jump on her and either, not necessarily kill her, just restrain her?
You have these things. They're amazing things. Pieces of technology.
Yeah.
They're called, and bear with me on this one, guns. They are fantastical pieces of technology that have been used successfully for hundreds of years on Earth. Okay, here's how basically they work.
Yeah.
There is a person over there who's doing something you don't like.
Yeah.
So instead of running up to them and stabbing them with a knife, which means they could probably punch you or stab you back before you could get a chance, you can point this magical device, again, a gun, at them. You can pull a trigger, and they go away forever. This is the magic of a gun, and it baffles me whenever they don't use guns.
Yeah.
Not because I like killing.
No, yeah,
I do. I really do. I'm a bloodthirsty psychopath. As you probably figured out. Honestly, if you'd watched the first version of Equestria Girls, you'd really have figured that out.
We're only psychopaths when it comes to fiction. No, you're the psychopath. I'm the one sane man type of.
Yeah, but still, you have guns.
Yeah.
She's a murderer.
Yeah.
She tried to kill you.
Yeah.
This isn't some G-rated thing where Cobra and G.I. Joe are shooting at each other with lasers and missing.
Even Cobra and G.I. Joe would attempt to shoot each other.
Yeah. Okay. So again, they're shooting at. Okay, but still, this isn't My Little Pony, where you can shrug off attempted murder like it's nothing.
Yeah.
This isn't Care Bears. This isn't one of those shows. You
have
guns.
You have guns.
This is supposed to be your bounty hunters. This is a grim and gritty world.
Yep.
Shoot her.
Yep.
Shoot her dead.
There's just so many. It wouldn't it be nice if she were doing clever things the whole time to, like, sneak around the ship and not so we couldn't find her, and if she's got the captain under mind control, she could get, like, his access codes and do all sorts of interesting things. None of that happened.
Yeah, okay, I pointed it out to Sonic Sons. Okay, at one point, Not Zoe knows that the captain is in a specific location with Mind Control Lady.
Yeah. And
so I said, okay, there's a shipboard AI who can control portions of the ship.
Yeah.
So logically, she's going to have that AI isolate that compartment and dump a bunch of the air into space until they fall unconscious.
Yeah.
Then she's going to tie them up and put them in opposite ends of the ship until we can deliver her to the proper authorities.
Yeah.
Guess what they didn't do?
Any of that?
Yeah, they didn't do any of that.
Yeah, and the cinematography was bad.
Cinematography.
I always do that. Yes, the photography of the cinnamon was
Okay,
very...
you know how in Battlefield Earth, if you've ever seen the Battlefield Earth reviews of like the Nostalgia Critic or something, or even Spoonie's Turl impressions, you know, the camera is always on an angle. Always. And that's one of the things they criticize in those reviews. It's like this, except worse.
It's like
almost.
I think there was sometimes the camera was normal, but there was a lot of angle shots for no reason.
Yeah,
it was like the cameraman just had no other ideas. Like, I'll just...
And look, if it was deliberate, like this ship is so crappy that the artificial gravity is starting to give out.
That'd be interesting.
And you know, you're forced to stand like that.
Right.
You know, fine, I could understand that. Of course, and this is just another random sci-fi thing. I just really find it annoying when in science fiction they have these holograms and they have really shitty resolution. They had the hologram in this one have really shitty resolution too.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's worse off than the original television sets from like the 30s and stuff.
Yeah, something like that.
But you know, when we have like crystal clear LCD displays right now.
Yeah, I mean that happens in all sorts of sci-fi.
Well, yeah, but it's just annoying.
Yeah. About the cinematography, I think I got it that time. They did a lot of A/B shots that were really close. You know, her face, his face, her face, his face, and you didn't get any like medium shots to establish their like 3-dimensional position related to each other,
or that they're even in the same room.
Or that they're even in the same room.
And heck, Star Trek: The Next Generation actually did this way better. Big surprise! One of the most critically acclaimed science fiction shows of the last 20 years did something better than this show.
Yeah.
But okay, in the best of both worlds, Geordie LaForge's actor, LeVar Burton, actually wasn't there at all during the time of the original shooting when everyone else was shooting.
Right.
But because they were able to edit it together well, they were able to show Geordie walking around and stuff.
And it looked like people were talking to him when there was just another shot. You know, they were talking to nobody, and he was talking.
He had like surgery or something, but he wasn't even there. Here, it could have. It was quite clear that neither of them were in the same room.
Well, wait. Here's the thing. What you just said was an example of people literally not in the same room, but they made it feel like they were. And what we just saw was they may have been in the same room, but it didn't feel like they were. It was the opposite. It was like, it just keep cutting. I need 3D space. I need to understand if they're close to each other, if they're little things like that, they add up.
And you know what else is really weird?
Yeah.
Naked people on the walls.
Yes.
There were naked people on the walls for no reason. And yeah, at one point there was a throwaway line that said, this used to be a pleasure cruiser or a leisure liner.
Yeah,
okay.
So I guess that's the art of the pleasure cruiser, but just...
Few things. One, this ship was kind of ugly.
Yeah.
So, you know, you usually expect...
It doesn't fit as a pleasure cruiser that way.
Okay, two, if my mind recalls correctly... Legion, Terminal of the Geth in Mass Effect, stated that no Geth ship has windows. And the reason for this is windows are a structural weakness. So it strikes me that a pleasure cruiser, which is designed to sail through the stars, and, I mean, not through the stars, only the
stars.
Only the Starship Destiny from Stargate Universe can have that.
Yep.
That was a really cool scene, though. But anyways... So, sail among the stars, looking at planets and stuff, you'd have lots of windows.
Yeah.
Now, for a ship designed to track down people, shoot them a lot, and bring them in...
You don't want a lot of windows.
You don't want structural weaknesses. No. So that seems like a bad choice already, for one reason.
Yeah.
Two... If you have the technology and the resources to remove all the other pleasure cruiser stuff, why did you not take the naked people off the walls?
That's funny.
And furthermore, if this was a repurposed pleasure cruiser,
why?
Yeah, why?
Just to begin with, maybe they explain that in a later episode. But you know,
this show is just so bad. It's it's not even that it's bad. It's that we can see how this could have been so much better.
Yeah, we can see it. The intro, that was the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, it had this fat guy talking on what looked like a hologram, but it looked like the camera angle was shifting back and forth for no reason.
It was like, you know how they add, like you were saying earlier about bad holographic things, and like sometimes they add static, and like if there's a little bit of static, you can just see it and ignore it. But this was this other weird shifty thing that you couldn't ignore, and it was always just like shift to the left, shift to the right,
and the guy had, and there was no point to it either.
The guy was talking about all the times he's had sex and how he's forgotten everybody's name that he had sex with, and you were like, why is this relevant? Like, you thought it was going to be relevant at first, and then later you're like, nope, not relevant.
And you know, it set it up, you know, this is a typical sci-fi thing. Yeah. Say something suggestive, and then it turns out that you're actually talking about
gonna be fun.
Something amazing. Like, you always remember your first time. We thought, oh, he's talking about the first time he piloted a ship outside of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about the first time he landed on another planet.
Yeah.
He's talking about the first time he went to an extrasolar colony.
I thought it was going to be like a big double entendre thing. It was going to be fun like that. And then it was just like, and then we had sex. And I was like, really? That's not clever. It was going to be something clever.
Okay. Yeah, it's just... And we never got to... And you know what's worse?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be kind of a soap... Not a soap opera thing, but kind of soap opera thing.
A sci-fi action drama?
Yeah, you know... In the first episode of Firefly, we're going to make a lot of these comparisons if we're not almost done. Whatever. But, you know, there was a scene where Serenity was chased down by a Reaver ship, or that it had to evade an Alliance cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
The only shots we got of the ship doing freaking anything was just when it was floating along in space. Basic establishing shots.
Yeah.
And yes, okay, that can be an effective tool as a scene transition.
Mm-hmm.
Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, Red Dwarf, Babylon 5. They all used this.
Mm-hmm.
But see, here's the other thing. They typically had stuff going on at the same time. And, you know, when the rest of the show is already crap, when we see the ship doing nothing, and there's nothing going on inside the ship, why are we paying attention to the ship?
Yeah, pretty much. And it felt like a huge ship, too, and for that crew.
It had like 4 people in it.
Again, maybe that's the backstory or something, but you just kept like coming back to, hey, there's that ship that's too big. Again, there it is again. Yep, okay.
Yeah, I mean, in what even... We don't know anything about this universe.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take Star Trek for... Let's take Star Trek for another example. Okay, first episode, Encounter at Farpoint. Admittedly, I haven't really seen it, but in the first few minutes, it's quick. Okay, I've seen reviews of the episode, and I've read text reviews and whatever, but still, in the first few minutes, you're establishing that this is the ship, the Federation Starship Enterprise D. Meaning several things. 1, there have been several generations of Starship named Enterprise since the first one.
Yep.
2, the main government is named the Enterprise. I mean,
it's the Federation.
The Federation.
Yep.
And it's a united federation of planets, meaning it's multi-planet.
Yep.
Okay? And you're a member of Starfleet. Fleet implying multiple ships. We don't know anything by comparison. At the end of the first episode, we know nothing of the government. We know nothing of why they're going after these bounties. We know nothing of what inspired him to become a bounty hunter when his stated goal is finding his son again from the Raiders.
Yeah. You do know there's somebody called the Raiders, so that's something.
And he said, they put the decision into committee. Well... You know, that just means talking about it. I'm out there doing something.
Yeah, what decision was he talking about even?
Yeah, it was just so bland and forgettable. Like, typical action hero crap. The government isn't doing anything, so I have to go off and do my own thing. Okay, admittedly, that is an effective way of establishing that bureaucracy has too great of a control over a system.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that there is just as many historical examples of that failing, both in fiction and in real life.
I mean, an historical example wouldn't matter. The point is, if you're gonna do the bureaucracy sucks, let's make that part of the story. And like he freaking, cuts through the red tape and kills the bad guy in this episode, right?
Right.
Make it part of the thing instead of like, whatever. This other part isn't as crucial because again, it's just the first episode, and maybe half of that stuff gets established over the next couple episodes. But just add that on to everything else we were saying earlier with the camera shots and the bad dialogue and the not shooting people when it was clearly obvious. Why don't you just shoot him? Yeah.
Ugh.
But instructive in its way. This was not for me one of those shows where it's so bad your brain just turns off and you're like, why the hell did I even watch that? This was like bad in a way of like, aha, I can spot the problems, and I'm getting a little more practice at spotting problems. Like in a fun way.
Oh yeah, it wasn't something that was that bad that you just turn your brain off and you're like, oh God, make it stop. Star Trek, the motion picture, that was bad.
It was just so boring. That's the thing. There's the one thing you can't deal with. If the characters are being dumb, I can like rack up points in my head, like, I've spotted all the ways you've been dumb.
And that's entertaining.
It's entertaining for us. But if you're being boring, we just sit there like nothing the frick is going on. Which, by the way, is the ultimate sin of the Star Wars Christmas special, which you should never watch. Just watch the review by Nostalgia Critic,
or any of the other ones. Star Wars Holiday Special. I think it was boring.
There was an instructional video in the middle of, and now circuit B into slot A, like literally nothing else going on. Like, holy God, what the? I don't get this at all.
Okay, I think the bigger problem with the Star Wars Christmas Special is that no one knew what was going on.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, admittedly, some of the little snippets that they cut away to are entertaining. And yes, I admit that as a modern television watcher, this is a format of television special that isn't much used anymore, and it seems a little unfamiliar to us.
Yes.
Because that's how holiday specials used to be.
Live and stupid.
Yeah, kind of. But anyways, the individual segments could be pretty good. They had a music video going on.
For heaven's sake. Come on.
Okay, the music video wasn't that great, but still. Okay, the cartoon where they introduced Boba Fett.
Okay, maybe
I
haven't seen that
that was interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
You've only seen... Oh, I've actually seen the whole thing.
Oh, God. How did you manage? All right.
Screaming.
Okay.
I was literally screaming.
So basically what we can say for Starhunter is it's better than the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Okay, congratulations. You just said the most meaningless...
Put that on the box!
You just said the most meaningless sentence anyone has ever spoken in science fiction history. You could say that Encounter at Farpoint was better.
Yes, of course it was.
You could say that Jar Jar Binks was better than that.
Yes, he was.
You could say that the motion picture was better than that. Because, hell, at least we knew what was... No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
At least they were all speaking a language that we understood. At least we knew what was happening. Yeah. The characters were making decisions that were at least semi-exciting when they made them. The visuals were beautiful.
Yeah, okay, we get it. So yeah, Starhunter. Maybe he'll hunt some stars next, and I just want to see a guy shooting stars with a shotgun and bagging them and taking them home.
It was just bafflingly weird, the directions they made. If this was the pilot, maybe I could understand that. Like,
yeah, I thought it was the pilot. Was it not the pilot?
Okay, well, it was the first episode. I don't know if that's a pilot or not.
I don't know.
Like,
we might watch more of it later, just if we run out of other material to watch. I don't know.
Yeah, but the point being that maybe we'll watch more. Maybe we'll get a better idea. Maybe this was... I mean, pilots can be a little weird on things.
Yeah, early installment weirdness affects even the best of shows. But this was a pretty bad way to start.
We pointed out Star Trek The Next Generation. That had really bad... It had a really bad...
Even that was still better. Star Trek TNG first episode or two-parter.
First season.
Was better than this first episode. The freaking jellyfish thing was interesting to an extent. Mm-hmm. I knew it was going on, and there was no, why don't you just shoot them all the time?
Right.
There was genuine mystery, and a thing happened, and, okay.
That's see? That's a
And
thing.
they didn't have all these weird close-up shots that you couldn't tell where people were in the... these things weren't tilted, and it didn't start with a weird fat guy talking about people having sex. Which is a great thing to start off with. Is just to not start with that. Really is
not making me think of fat people having sex. That's a ringing endorsement of I've ever heard one.
I'm not trying to say fat people are disgusting. I'm just what I'm trying to say is that irrelevant things are stupid in your storytelling. If it's irrelevant, just leave it out. Get to the story. Fat people are people too. But yeah, I think that's all.
Not for long. I'm kidding.
All right, so that's about all we have to say on Starhunter.
Okay, right. Starhunter, episode 1.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
And we're signing off.